What's up guys, and welcome to a new video. So today we're going to cover my pure summons Necromancer. And when I say pure summons, I mean pure summons. We don't use any basic or core skills. The only thing doing damage with this build are the minions themselves. We do use Blighted Corpse Explosion, but that is only for utility, to buff our minions and lower our cooldowns. It does pretty much no damage. I did try several variations and setups with this build, and I think that the one I landed on overall is the best for a pure summoner Necromancer in Season 3. By no means is this the fastest build in the game or an S tier build, but it can comfortably handle all content the game has to offer. And if you enjoy having an army of undead kill everything for you, then you have come to the right place. In this guide, we will cover everything from the skills used to the best Paragon board setup. Timestamps will be down below, so feel free to jump ahead at any time. At the end of the video, there will also be Tier 100 Nightmare Vault gameplay. If the video ends up being helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. I'm quickly approaching 10k subs, and I'd really appreciate it. Anyways, let's get right into it. Alright, starting off with the skills we use in the build. Up top right here, we use Corpse Explosion. Because of our ring, this is going off automatically. This gives us a huge damage boost because of nodes in our Paragon. This also, has a lucky hit. It procs our Decrepify on targets, helping to lower our cooldowns. There's a few things it does for us. Basically, we use Corpse Explosion for utility. You don't ever have to cast it yourself. We use Corpse Tendrils. This is going to group enemies up, make them vulnerable, stun them, slow them down. I mean, it's just really good overall. Great for the build. You don't actually have to cast this yourself also, but you can, so that it's going off more often. You can cast this around the ring. Even though the ring that we have casts it automatically, we can also cast it ourselves to have it more often. Right here we use Decrepify. Decrepify is awesome. It gives us a chance to lower our active cooldowns up to 15% on lucky hit. Also, it slows enemies down, makes it to where they do less damage. Just awesome. And we pretty much spam this at all times. Right here we don't use Iron Maiden. We do come down and use Army of the Dead for our ultimate skill. Because of an aspect, this is going to give us 100% increased attack speed to our minions, which turns out also to give us 50% multiplicative increased damage because of a node in our Paragon board that they changed this season. So this is great to have, and our cooldowns are constantly getting brought down because of our Decrepify, so this is up pretty frequently. And then obviously down here we're gonna have Raised Skeleton and Raised Golem. Golem does a ton of damage with this build, and also our mages do quite a bit of damage. Our Skeleton Reapers, the melee skeletons don't do a ton of damage. They're more as meat shields, but definitely the skeleton mages and the golem do a ton of damage. So alright, now we'll go ahead and jump into the gear and aspects used on the build. Really quick guys, once again I say this in all my videos, get your resistances capped off. It's really important to have that. They definitely matter now, so try to get 70% on all of those. Starting off in the helmet, now you can see I'm wearing the Harlequin crest. With this build, this does give me a little bit more life and cooldown. That's about all it does for me really. Because using this I could have resistances, cooldown and other stuff up here, like on this helmet right here. We could get intelligence for damage with this build. There's other good stats you could get if you don't have Shaco, which like I said, it just gives us a little bit of cooldown basically and maximum life, because plus all skills with this build doesn't matter all that much. If you don't have that though, just get yourself a helmet like this. Try to get whatever good stats you need on there. Like I said, you can get an intelligence, you can get cooldown, you can get tons of resistances. This helmet would have a ton of resistance. And then for the aspect up on your helmet that you want to use is the hulking aspect. You can see your golem has a 10% chance to reduce its active cooldown by 2 seconds, and 5% chance to spawn a corpse each time it damages an enemy. We want as many corpses around as possible, and we want to get our cooldown for our golem down as often as possible as well, because our golem actually does a ton of damage with the attack that he has. And we'll go over which golem we use, which is actually the blood golem, when we get into our summons choices. But you want to try to get that hulking aspect on your helmet, or if you feel like you're getting CC'd a lot, because we don't use blood mist to get out of CC. We have no unstoppable with this build. I find that I don't really need it that often, but if you feel like you're getting CC'd pretty often and you're dying because of it, then you can use the eluding aspect right here. You can see becoming injured while crowd controlled grants you unstoppable for 4 seconds, and it has a 20 second cooldown on the effect. But that will actually help you quite a bit, so it'll get you out of those CCs. So it's up to you. You can either use the aspect that's on this helmet, on your helmet, or the eluding aspect right here. Now going into the chest plate. For the chest plate, you want to try to get minion life, because we do use the bone mages and they use life every time they attack, at the cost of they do a ton of damage. So, and we have no problems with it. But you want to get on your chest right here. You want to get summoning skill damage, maximum life, resistances. And then for the aspect up there, you want to get the Blood Getters aspect. Your maximum number of skeleton warriors is increased by 2. Obviously, we're a summoner. We want to get as many summons as we possibly can. And then try to get, as much armor, high item power on your armor as you can. Real quick, in all of your armor pieces, you want to get rubies for maximum life. Down here in your weapon, you want to get skulls for life on kill. And then you see that we use a two-handed scythe. That also gives us, for the base implicit, life on kill. So that helps to keep our life boosted at all times. And then over here, cap your resistances. If they're capped, then get skulls for more armor. Now into the gloves. On the gloves, you want to get attack speed, 12% base crit, and then, whatever else you want to get on here. Minions inherit some of our thorns. We actually get thorns in the skill tree, you'll see. It makes it to where our minions are able to proc the lucky hit also when they're attacked. Whatever good stats you can get on your gloves. There's no plus to ranks you want to find on your gloves because we don't use any core skills or anything. So just whatever good stats you get. Now remember, minions inherit pretty much 33% to be exact of all stats that you have or that you get. So, any place that you get damage to yourself, minions will get like 33% of that. So on here, they'll get 33% of my crit strike chance and other things that I have on here. So for the aspect on your gloves, you want to have the aspect of grasping veins. This gives us, more base crit chance. And then when enemies are affected by corpse tendrils, we deal more critical strike damage. So definitely want to have that. Into your pants. Now on your pants, you want to get total armor and get as many damage reduction rolls as you can. I have maximum life right there. That'd be nice if it was damage reduction also. And then for the aspect on your pants, this is actually really important. You want to get the aspect, the Juggernauts aspect that's new this season. Now you see right here I have 7k armor, 7.5k. That's only in town. Once you go out of town, this build has almost 15k armor. So we're capped off even in Nightmare 100 dungeons. So we're good to go with armor. Juggernauts aspect is awesome. Make sure you get that on your pants. Down into the boots right here, we're going to go with the aspect of Dominion, Occultist Dominion on here, giving us 2 more skeleton mages. And then for your boots, you want to get movement speed and, basically whatever resistances you need. And then, you can get intelligence right there like I have. That's going to turn into damage for this build overall and resistances. So, obviously our minions get a % of the overall damage that we have. So, whatever good stats you can get, but definitely get movement speed and also get resistances on there. For your weapon, now you want to go with the two-handed scythe on here. Minions do not gain attack speed from your weapon, but they do gain the base damage. The two-handed scythe will have the highest base damage of any weapon. You can see right there has 4,057 base damage. They get that, so that's boosting your minions damage a lot. Then you want to try to get all stats and intelligence for sure. And then whatever stats you can find on there, vulnerable damage, slowed, any damage that you can find on there. For the aspect on your two-handed weapon, you definitely want to have the aspect of reanimation. This is given an 80% multiplier to our minions, which is huge. Up into the amulet, right here, guys, you want to go with the aspect of Frenzy Dead. Really important on here. As you'll see when we go into the Paragon board, for every 20% of attack speed our minions have, no matter how much they have, even if they go over cap, we get a 10% multiplier to their damage. So, this is basically giving us our minions a ton of attack speed when they attack. And, you definitely want to have this on your amulet. Now, people might ask, why didn't you go with the, the blighted aspect and use, over here, use the Shadow Blight. I did go that route. I tried that. The damage is nice, but the damage is not consistent. And we have a barrier with this build, so we're making to where Kalan's Edict is up pretty much at all times, which I'll go over when we get into our construct. So just the way that I have it set up, though, it's just more consistent and the damage output is pretty good. Anyways, though, back into our gear. So right up here, you want to try to get movement speed. Obviously, with a Necromancer, they're like the slowest class in Diablo 4, so you want to get movement speed. I do anyways. I like to move around fast. I don't like to be like a snail going around in dungeons and stuff like that. So definitely get movement speed. Try to get minion attack speed. If you can get 3 ranks to Hellbent Commander, that would be awesome for this build, like instead of the core skill. Or I'm sorry, instead of the ultimate skill damage or even the curses, if you get three ranks to Hellbent Commander, that'll give you like a 30% more multiplier when you're close to your minions, which is huge. If I had that, I'd be doing even more damage. But you can get other stuff on there, like I have, $3 curse skills, just whatever good stats you can find. But definitely try to get minion attack speed and movement speed for yourself, and then get the Frenzied Dead aspect on there. Right here into the first ring, we're going to use the Ring of Sacrilegious. Varshan drops this. It drops in dungeons. I've gotten quite a few of them. I got really lucky with this ring. If you look, I have perfect rolls for the raised skeleton, corpse explosion, and the corpse tendrils. That's, I don't know, that's pretty crazy to me. So that's awesome. I got lucky with that. But this ring is great, man. It automatically casts all those for you. You know, we want to be casting raised skeleton all the time because that, you know, if our skeletons are already up, it'll raise a skeleton priest that buffs our minions damage by 30%. So this will be automatically casting that for you. Now, we do want to cast that still on our own as often as we possibly can, just to make sure that they're getting that 30% multiplier, and it tops off their life. It gives them heal. But you know, this ring, it's second to none in the ring slot. With this build, it makes it so much easier. You know, you're just running around watching your minions do the work, and you know, telling your golem where to go, casting Decrepify and corpse tendrils once in a while if you want to. You don't even have to, and you know, basically makes it like easy mode with the entire build. And on top of that, it has a lot of good stats: lucky hit chance, maximum life, essence, which doesn't really apply to the build, and 2 to all corpse skills. So definitely want to have the sacrilegious ring right there. Down here now, we want to go with the aspect of the unyielding commander on here. While Army of the Dead is active, your minions gain 100% increased attack speed, and they take 90% reduced damage. So that's just awesome, you know, all the way around. So not only, because of our Paragon board node, not only do they get 100% attack speed, but they also get a 50% multiplier anytime that this is up. So that's just great for the build. For stats on your ring, I would say get crit chance. Like I said, minions inherit, you know, like a third of all of your stats. So you want to boost your crit chance up as high as you possibly can. Get minion life. You know, I got a 50% minion life on that ring right there. That's actually really nice. Gives our minions a ton more life. And then I have, you know, minions inherit more thorns. You can get whatever for your other stats. You know, you can get maximum life for yourself or whatever good stats you can find. Not too big of a deal. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the gear and aspect, guys. Now we'll go ahead and jump into the Book of the Dead. Up here for the Skeleton Warriors, you want to go with the Reapers with the 15% chance to carve off the enemy's flesh, forming a corpse. I had seen from sources that this, you know, didn't work. They weren't creating the corpses. I actually tested it in Kyovashad, and to me it seemed like they were creating definitely more corpses. So you want to have as many corpses around as possible. So right here, you're going to want to go with the Reapers and take this right here. Into the Mages, you want to go with the Bone Mages. You can see right here, you know, they cost life every time that they cast, but they also get a 40% multiplier, so that's huge. And you know, we're constantly healing them with the Priest, and the rings healing with the Priest. So it's, you know, it's a no-brainer. They do tons of damage, and we don't do any kind of shadow damage with the build, so we don't have to worry about getting the shadow mages up here. Right here, we're going to go ahead and take the Blood Golem. In this season, they've been buffed. Now, all of the, before just the Bone Golem did an AoE swipe, they all do area of effect damage now, all 3 of the golems. And if you see right here with the blood, while healthy, which it's always healthy, gets 25% damage reduction and a 50% multiplier, which is massive. And then, you know, its skill that you can use does like a scream and does a ton of damage as well. And, you know, it just, overall, this is definitely the golem you want to go with. All right, now we'll briefly go over the construct. Over here, we're going to go with Tempest, Breaking Support, Initiative, and Fortify. Tempest is basically just an attack, which hits enemies, electricity attack. Breaking Support gets rid of enemy barriers immediately, which is awesome, and, you know, makes enemies vulnerable. So instead of just corpse tendrils, this is another way that we're making enemies vulnerable. Initiative support, I like to have this. It makes the construct teleport up next to you. If you notice the if you notice the construct likes to get lost quite often, and this keeps him by your side and active more often. And then Fortify support, we want to, you know, boost our Fortify up as much as possible. And with this build, with this going on with the construct, we always have Fortify. Over on this side, we're going to go ahead and take Protect. Now, some people will take Flash of Adrenaline. We actually take Protect. This gives us a barrier of that pretty much almost all of our life, which is awesome. It's a nice defensive shield. And it's up 9 seconds out of every 12, so it only has a 3-second cooldown, which is awesome. And then because of this Protect barrier, if you actually look over here, we take Kalon's Edict. Now, normally people won't take this because you see right there, after you have not taken damage in the last 2 seconds, your minions gain a 15% attack speed multiplier, which is boosted to 30% if you have 7 minions. Usually this is not worth taking because, especially in like higher dungeons, you're taking damage left and right. You know, there's damage coming from all angles, so you're never getting the benefit of this. But since we're running the Protect aspect, it actually works out great because for those 9 seconds, and a lot of times even the 3 seconds of off time, we're not taking any damage. So that's up at all times, giving us 30% more attack speed. And then if you remember, attack speed also turns into that would be like a you know, 10, actually like a 15% multiplier, because it gives us 30% attack speed because of our Paragon board. So overall, in my opinion, for defense and damage, this is better, because, you know, with Flash of Adrenaline, we only get, the minions will only inherit 30% of that 20%. So, you know what, they're getting like 6% more damage or whatever it is, whatever it turns out to be. So overall, having Protect, the way that we have things set up, is definitely going to be better, and you get that defensive layer. Down here, we're going to take Duration Support. Obviously, you know, adds more duration to Protect. Right here, Tactical lowers the cooldown, so there's only three seconds of downtime. And then Safeguard, you know, this obviously gives us more damage reduction, so we want to go with Safeguard right here. All right, jumping into the skill tree. Up top for the basic skill, take whatever 2 points you want. We do not use that whatsoever. Right here into the core skill, we also don't take any core skills. You definitely want to get 3 points into Hewed Flesh for more corpses. Up here, get 1 into Unliving Energy. The only reason we get 1 right here is because if we didn't take it here, we'd have to take it up here in order to get down to here. So that's like the best spot we can put it. Down into our Corpse Macabre, we're going to get Corpse Explosion right here, run it back to Enhanced, and then run it back to Blighted. The main reason we use this is to get our cooldowns down because of Decrepify. You know, you see right over here, Aberrant Decrepify. Enemies hit while affected with Decrepify have up to a 15% chance to reduce your active cooldowns by 1 second. And obviously with Blighted Corpse Explosion, you know, it's doing a damage over time over 6 seconds, so it's ticking on enemies, giving us more of a chance to lower our cooldowns. And another reason we take Corpse Explosion, because of the Paragon board, you'll see it gives us a ton of damage as well. And then also, another reason that we take it is because we're going to go right here to Grim Harvest and back to Fueled by Death. You see right here with Fueled by Death, you deal 9% multiplicative increased damage for 6 seconds after consuming a corpse. You know, and this is another one you can get 3 points to on your amulet if you wanted to look for Fueled by Death. That will give you a 9% multiplier also. Right here, you're going to want to get 1 into Spiked Armor. Now, minions cannot proc Lucky Hit themselves, but with Spiked Armor, when they take damage, it does proc Lucky Hit. So you want to get 1 into there so your minions inherit some of your thorns. Right here, obviously, we want to max out the Skeleton Warrior Mastery, you know, for more life of the Skeleton Warriors. All right, down here into our Curse skills. We get 3 into Amplify Damage. Obviously, this is going to give us a ton of damage against enemies that are cursed. Down here into Decrepify, back to Enhanced, and over to Aberrant. Obviously, this is going to reduce our cooldowns. Decrepify is great. We constantly cast this on all enemies around us. Slows them down, makes it to where they deal less damage. Just overall good for the build. 3 into Skeletal Mage Mastery for more life with our mages. 3 into Death's Embrace. Close enemies take 6% more damage and deal 9% less. Up here, we're going to get Corpse Tendrils. Corpse Tendrils is awesome for the build. Obviously, it makes enemies, as you can see, run back to Enhanced and to Plagued. Makes enemies vulnerable, stuns them, slows them down, holds them in place. You know, our ring auto cast this, and we can also cast this. 3 ranks right here into Reaper's Pursuit. Obviously, with Blighted Corpse Explosion, we're dealing darkness damage, and this gives us more movement speed while we're doing that. So another way that we're zooming around. 3 into Necrotic Carapace. Another way that we have Fortify. So this with our construct, our Fortify is pretty much always up, giving us a damage reduction, which is great. We're going to come into our ultimate skills, guys. Right here, we're going to get Golem Mastery. Ton more life for our Golem. Taking Army of the Dead back to Prime and Supreme. Army of the Dead's great. Gives us a ton of damage. Corpses around us. Recast any minions that are not around us, which we hardly use minions, even in tier 100s. This build's great with our minions, even though we're using Bone Mages. With the extra life that we have on our ring and our chest, and with our priests constantly going off and getting them more life boosts, we rarely lose them at all. So I want to come right here into Inspiring Leader. After you've been healthy for at least 2 seconds, you and your minions gave 12% increased attack speed. And then to Hellbent Commander, obviously huge multiplier when you're next to your minions. 3 into Death's Defense. Defense, they get increased armor and 24% increased resistance. Now, I think the resistance is bugged. Not 100% sure. It doesn't show up in the tooltip though, but we take this anyways. Then we're going to go 1 into Bonded Essence with our extra point. Basically, you can see right there, every 8 seconds your Skeletal Priest healing will heal your skeletons for an additional 20% of their maximum life. And then for our key passive, like I said, we're taking Kalan's Edict. Basically, we have over 7 minions, so this is going to give us a 30% increase to their attack speed, which turns out to give us a 10% multiplier to their damage. Also, because of our Paragon board, for every 20% attack speed they have, they get 10% more increased damage. All right, now we'll go ahead and jump into the Paragon board. Down here, we're going to come up to prime damage and maximum life. Real quick, guys, on the Paragon board, also get all of your glyphs to level 15 so you get the bigger radius, and eventually get them leveled up to 21. And then on top of that, guys, there will be a link down in the description for this build over on Mobalytics if you want to check it out that way. Over here, we're going to get resilience for maximum life and all resistances. Up here, we're going to grab preservation, knowledge. Right here, we're going to throw mage, the mage glyph. This one's awesome, gives obviously our mages more damage, but on top of that, the additional bonus, they get 35% increased resistance to all elements, which is just great for the build, for their survivability. The next board we're going to come into will be the Cult Leader board. Now, this was the legendary node that I was talking about. You can see right there, your minions deal 10% increased damage, reach 20% of attack speed bonus they have. So that's why we want to just boost their attack speed any and every way that we possibly can. It leads to more damage overall. And obviously, when they have more attack speed, under the cap anyways, they're getting more damage out of that because they're hitting more often. So, but that's the next board we come into. Over here, we're going to get Armor Clad, Minion Armor and Life, Cult Leader, run it up to Infused, over to Puppeteer. Over here, we're going to get Infused Caster. Right here for the glyph right here, we're going to go with the Dead Razor glyph. Obviously, this gives us a ton of damage reduction to our minions and damage to our minions. We're going to get minion damage right here, and we're also going to get Custody. 40% damage reduction is huge for the minions. The sideboard that we're going to get over here is Flesh Eater. Now you can see right here, consuming 5 corpses grants 40% multiplicative increased damage for 6 seconds. That's a big multiplier. Definitely want to have that. And because of the ring, it's constantly casting corpse explosions. So, running through dungeons and stuff like that, we always have this up. So it's a nice chunk of damage for our minions. Over here, the board that we're going to go into is the Sen of Death board. Now we're going to go ahead and take Imbiber. While healthy, we get a ton of, base damage to us, which gives a lot of damage to our minions with this. And we're pretty much always healthy, especially when we're running the Protect in our construct. We're almost always healthy. We have that barrier around us, so definitely want to get that right there. Get the willpower and radius, death marked right here, and then also get preservation for armor and intelligence. The next board that we're going to want to come into is the Hulking Monstrosity board. This gives our golem a ton of increased life and maximum increased damage. Just huge for the golem, obviously. There's tons of golem damage all around this board as well. We're going to get infused over here, take frenzied, flesh horror, and then also borrowed strength. And then we also want to get the golem glyph right here, guys. Now it's been changed in season 3. You can see now for the additional bonus is a 25% multiplier to damage. Prior to season 3, it gave a 25% multiplier to life. So this is just even more damage for the golem. So our golem just does heaps and heaps of damage, and obviously we have 39 willpower and radius over here. There was more willpower over here. I didn't want to spend a bunch of points to get to it though. So we just got what was easy. That's pretty much it for the build, guys. Hopefully this guide is helpful. This build's really fun. Can do everything in the game. Not the fastest or best overall build in the game right now, but definitely fun. If you like minions, definitely try this build out. You don't use any core or basic skills. Really fun and easy playstyle. There will be Vault 100 gameplay right now. But like I said, I'm almost about to hit 10k subs. If you can help, give me that like and sub, guys. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching.
ready yet. I need more time.